Like an automotive dark horse, Mazda surprised us last year by building a compact car that transcended its segment with premium features, build quality, and impressive handling. That's exactly why we chose last year to give it the AutoGuide.com 2014 Car of the Year award.
But it isn't alone, because the Volkswagen Golf, which has arguably always been a high watermark for affordable premium compacts, is back with an all-new platform in 2015, and it's better than ever.
The fact that I'm even able to justify a comparison between the Mazda 3 and the Volkswagen Golf is remarkable. I mean, Mazda is definitely the underdog from a branding perspective, but frankly, I don't think there are any two other vehicles that are more apt for a comparison than the Mazda 3 and the Golf. And rewind by a year, that really wouldn't have been the case because, to be honest, the previous three would be more appropriately comparable to something like a Hyundai Elantra, a Kia Forte, or maybe a Honda Civic. But that isn't true anymore because now the Mazda 3's interior is populated by premium materials that make it look and, more importantly, feel like it ought to be a lot more expensive than it actually is. Take the dial that controls the infotainment system as an example. Not only does it look metallic, but it's cool to the touch. All of the buttons have a satisfying click when you press them, and everything is comfortably within reach from the driver's seat. It really is a splendid product, and one of my favorite parts about this car as equipped are the seats. I mean, they're stylish, they're comfortable, and the material feels quite a bit better than what you'd find in the Golf. The leather has a great feel to it, but it doesn't stop there because as soon as you're finished marveling at the clever use of materials, you've got extras like adaptive cruise control and a heads-up display to capture your attention again. And it really reminds you that this doesn't have to be a lowbrow economy car. No, this is the new Mazda 3, and it deserves respect. Now, that has as much to do with handling dynamics as it does interior material quality, because the Mazda 3 is built on an especially well-balanced chassis, and that, in combination with what's got to be one of the best automatic transmissions on the market and a relatively stiff suspension, make this not only more fun to drive than the old Mazda 3, but really it's probably the best handling car in its segment. The Mazda 3, as you probably know, is sold with either a 2-liter 4-cylinder or a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. And of course, the 2.5-liter engine puts out 185 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, which really, it does not feel slow, even without activating the sport mode paired with the automatic transmission. Frankly, for now though, I'm more than happy to let the car handle the shifting because it really is a very smooth unit. Gear shifts happen seamlessly and it's a very responsive transmission. Like I said earlier, the suspension is a little bit stiff and you're gonna notice when you drive over bumps. It's not intolerable, but if you're driving over cracked pavement, you're never gonna forget about that either. One other area where the Mazda 3 could perhaps be a little bit better is interior space and outward visibility. It's just not as spacious as the Golf, and frankly, it's fine for somebody my height, but I stand about 5'9", and if you were a bit bigger than me, your hair might start rubbing up against the headliner, and even for me, the cabin does feel a little bit tight. But all of that is a really small price to pay because you get to drive around in what at least I would say is the most stylish car in the segment, hands down, especially with the 18-inch alloy wheels that this car is equipped with.
As soon as you start driving the new Golf, you get the impression that you're in something that is far more premium than the usual compact car. I mean, just take a look at this interior. It's full of nice, soft-touch materials and these nice piano black accents. Now sure, you might go out of your way and call it boring, but I'd rather call it functional. And all of these buttons and knobs have a very satisfying tactile feel to them. Our model also features a brand new infotainment system from Volkswagen, which features a nice, responsive touchscreen system. although the layout is a little confusing and I wish it was a little bit bigger like the one found in the Mazda 3. But at least it comes with the Fender audio system, which sounds great thanks to the 8 speakers plus subwoofer. The one thing I really wish Volkswagen would do by now is adapt a standard USB port in their car. Instead, all you get are these proprietary cables for your iPhone or for your Android device, and it means that you have to go out of your way and buy a new cable every time you get a new phone or if you want to connect something else. Our SEL trim level vehicle comes with quite a few features, including heated seats, dual zone automatic climate control, rain sensing windshield wipers, and a panoramic sunroof, although I really don't think I would call that panoramic. It also comes with a really cool hidden rear view camera, which kind of tucks beneath the Volkswagen logo on the back hatch. But there are quite a few features in the Mazda that just aren't available in the Golf, like adaptive cruise control or blind spot assist. I mean, you don't need those two features, but when it comes to busting through the compact segment, that's what we really liked about the Mazda, and the Golf is kind of falling behind now. In terms of space, the new Volkswagen Golf is quite a bit larger than the Mazda 3, especially when it comes to headroom and cargo space. In terms of fuel economy, you'll find that these two cars perform pretty much the same when driven back to back and in the same conditions. Even though on paper the Mazda is supposed to get better fuel economy, I'd bet that you have to drive the Mazda pretty conservatively in order to get any kind of noticeable mile per gallon difference between these two cars. And it's not like the new Golf isn't sporty. It actually borrows the last generation GTI's brake vectoring system. Now what that does is it brakes an inside wheel during a turn in order for the car to rotate quickly and easily. But by now you've probably heard Luke talking about how much more fun the Mazda 3 is to drive. Hopefully he's been telling you about how stiff and harsh it is too. And that's one thing that the Golf doesn't do. Sure, it's responsive and engaging to drive, but it's also very compliant on the road. It doesn't beat you up. And that's what a premium car is like to drive. No compromises.
If the scores were any closer, this would have ended up being a tie because a single point made the difference here. The truth is, this was a really tough decision.
Both of these cars really are spectacular, but interior space and ride comfort ended up tipping the scales ever so slightly in favor of the Volkswagen Golf.